understand, you know, having a lease, because that's obviously we've decided that that's what we're going to do. But I am concerned about you know, if you're a boater and you've decided on your fee, so let's say this year it's $2,200 to dock your boat, and all of a sudden, and so you've figured out your budget for the year based on what you're doing, as well as we're going to do that for the Port Franks Marina, and then all of a sudden you have this sudden expense that you didn't count into your bookkeeping. So it's got to come out of your pocket somewhere. So I really don't like the concept of being able to put an unlimited amount on it. That's the first thing. And the second thing is, and the major issue right now is, again, we're at low water values out there. And we may not have a boater in any of the docks this year because they may not be able to get in and out just based on the statistics of what our waters are doing to us. So it may not be an issue anyways, I don't know. But it really concerns me that we're going to throw this huge sum of money all of a sudden, and we've made it legal to do that by doing that. It just, will this, then that decision come back to us to be able to say how many dollars we're going to put on that? Like, is that going to come back here to council? Like, or is it going to be a staff decision that you've got a signed contract, and we've decided that it's got to be $2,000 this year for the next 5 years. Let's just use that figure. Will you just automatically send that bill?
Decisions like that.
Okay, so you'll bring that back to us to make the decision.
I believe the Harbor Committee is going to be looking at that, making a recommendation.
Okay, that's fine.
We don't know yet. We don't know yet, do we?
No, we don't. But I'm just saying that having a surprise come out of your pocket when you're running a business, when you've made a budget, can be a very annoying thing.
Do we have a motion on the recommendation?
If I may,
Yep.
I did send, the decision to add that section in was a council decision. Council directed that
I had no interest
back in
that.
December. I did send a letter to all of the current leasees and said, these are the conditions under which council has said that they will consider renewing the leases. Is anyone interested? And yes, they were. There was a concern raised by one of the operators, and when I did speak to him to say that regardless of whether it is a homeowner with a dock or whether it's a business, whether you rent our property or not, if, and it's only an if, per dock fee was initiated, they would be responsible. And again, it isn't a for sure, and this was to give people a heads up and say, just so that you know, it might be coming. And again, the homeowners might say the same thing. We didn't know it was coming, you gave us a charge. So it will all be discussed at council before any implementation of that.
Thank you.
I guess I wasn't, and I wasn't faulting. I was just asking. I'm just saying that that's the part I have some issues with. I'm wondering, to Councillor Russell's point, if this is a bit premature for this year, if we should be waiting until this Harbor Committee does meet and maybe reviews, because I can't support the recommendation unless there's a limit of money set in that before the lessee signs. I just think that's grossly unfair to say to someone who's leasing, there could be a river maintenance fee. We haven't determined it yet. We'll let you know, but sign on the dotted line or we go to the next guy. I don't think it's good business. That's just how
Councillor,
Call vote, please.
I think we've had a good discussion. Anybody? Councillor McGuire, you wanted to vote? Call or you have a comment?
I just had a comment.
You haven't spoke to him, so I'll let you speak to him.
Point of order, a vote has been called.
Well, everybody gets to speak.
I'm going to let the members speak to it.
We have other instances like the Drainage Act where we could all of a sudden assess a large amount of money to a property owner without prior knowledge. So I don't think it's the amount of harbor improvement, whatever it may be. I don't think it's out of our scope to put that on.
Okay?
I didn't speak for the first time.
I'm going to let each member speak once. There were lots of people that spoke twice. Deputy Mayor Deck.
Yeah, I will just say that I think there'll be a lot of public discussion, a lot of discussion around this table, a lot of input from various sources before we make a decision about what's going to be charged. It'll have to be reasonable, and whatever's charged to that lot will be charged to other lot owners probably, so I think it'll have to be an acceptable amount. It's not unduly onerous.
Okay. All in favor of the motion? Opposed? Motion's carried. 8.12, clerk's report, communication issues, property owner feedback. There's a report and a recommendation there dealing with this. Councillor Weinstein.
I'm going to pass the recommendation through you to the clerk. Carol, this is absolutely, I think it's great stuff for us to adapt to Lambton Shores. I want to thank you for the work you put into it. It's excellent. It's exactly what we need. The only suggestion I made, we have a comment section at the bottom. And I know you spoke about something about putting in issues that are not municipally related. We have spent a lot of time around this table on issues that are not municipally related, and maybe there has to be some type of disclosure, disclaimer that, you know. But I am going to move that we accept the recommendation.
Seconded by Councillor Scott. Do you have anything to add to it, I guess?
And I tried to stress that it would need to be really, really clear that with the purpose of the survey, whether it was just for information for support at higher levels of government, and make it clear what the municipality could and could not do, because it would be misleading to send out a survey saying, indicating that we could make some changes where we could. The other thing I don't know if I stressed in there too, but not only we need to have comments on what people want for now, but also for the future too, and so hopefully this will be sort of a far-reaching one as well, so I'm not sure if I noted that in the second report.
Yep. I guess the question I had is, okay, for a specific topic, and do we send the survey to a specific area, or are we asking for comments from all the Lambton Shores? And who decides that? If there's an area that there's an issue, and you send it to a specific area, does everyone get to comment on that? And who decides where the boundary is for that? And how do we set that up? I guess I'm just trying to eliminate the possibility that we haven't given clear direction to staff. Councillor Russell.
Okay, so why don't we ask for a report on that specific issue and suggest that there's many ways of doing it. We've got local improvement acts, we've got the Drainage Act, we've got all different ways of taking area assessment and applying it to ratepayers for the purposes of making charges for services, right? So for survey-wise, the staff could come up with many ways to answer your question.
But that's what I say. If that comes back to council, if the survey's going out,
Let's ask in advance.
Let's
ask in advance.
Yes.
So that we don't discuss it for 2 hours every time it comes up.
Right.
If I may, I was intending that any survey before it went out would come to council for vetting to make sure that it got the information that we needed.
That's all I want was clarification that it comes back to council.
Make a motion.
Councillor Underwood hasn't spoke to it yet. Go ahead.
You know how I feel about surveys to start with, however, they are a good tool, and nowadays with technology, they have things called hyper-specific advertising, hyper-specific, you can actually narrow it right down. So as the time comes and as the technology is available and we have the questions that we want to have, which are ethical and like in nature, so they're not leading questions and all the rest of it, I think it's a good tool.
Okay, all in favor of the motion? Carried. Councillor Russell.
I'll make a motion that we direct staff to come up with methodologies for the appropriate survey, blah, 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 that the mayor would like to know about.
I'll second that.
We'll get a further report on how they are developed and what's the process for approving them before they go out. Okay? All in favor of that? That's carried. 8.13, this is for the facade grant program in Forest, and there's a recommendation there to discontinue it at this time. Councillor Underwood.
I move the recommendation that it gets forwarded to the Economic Development Committee for further, to be looked at for further usage in the future, or how we can tune it up or something.
Okay. Councillor Cook, you second?
Second.
Deputy Mayor Day?
Yeah, I'm grateful for this actually, because I do think that we should be investing in things that suit and fit our community design plans. So we are actually moving towards a destination and a goal with the facade continuity in our areas. So I'm grateful. I'm looking forward to being reinstated sometime in the near future.
Okay. Any other questions? All in favor of that motion? That's carried. Thank you. Bylaws. Councillor Russell, well, 28